Double welcome as always. Don't forget, give us a cheeky little like and subscribe. That would be absolutely wonderful. Now, look, as we're at the tail end of this absolute vulgar international break, I want to talk about the next 4 games, not just for Arsenal, but for the top half of the table. So we obviously won't be talking about Manchester United, will we? Until the next painful, vulgar, vile international break, which unfortunately comes in November. But yeah, this, I believe, is a crucial part of the season for Arsenal, these next 4 fixtures. Do we have a 4-way title race going on? Are Chelsea going to muscle their way into it? Are we going to be laughing at Spurs? Yeah, we are absolutely going to be laughing at Spurs. So let's get into it. And we'll start down from 10th all the way to 1st. And at 10th is Nottingham Forest. Now, look, 2 wins, 4 draws, and 1 defeat. Some real good, memorable moments as well in there too for Nottingham Forest. You know, they got a fantastic 1-0 victory at Anfield. Something my own club haven't been able to do since 2012. Yeah, Santi Cazorla, Lucas Podolski, I think a nice little 2-0 win. Some 12 years ago, so it's a fantastic little moment for them. Also, most recently for Forest, they got a draw at not high-flying Chelsea, but definitely a better Chelsea than we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, unfortunately. A little draw at the Bridge. I think they'll be happy with it, and I'd probably imagine a certain YouTuber, Long Hair Jetty, wouldn't be too disappointed with their start either, to be fair. Fair dues to them. Absolutely fair dues. They've signed well in the summer. They've showed a bit of ambition, and at the minute, top half of the table, they're showing a bit of benefits of it. Fair dues to them. Their next 4 games as well doesn't look too bad considering. So you've got Palace at home for Nottingham Forest. I think it's a winnable game. The way they've started, you'd probably expect to win if you was a Nottingham Forest fan. Then you've got Leicester away. I'm looking at that game and thinking, you know what? This could be 6 points for them. West Ham at home, they've not really got going yet, have they? Really under Lopetegui or whatever his bloody name is, and then Newcastle at home, who they're having an all right start to the season. But if I'm looking at that as a Nottingham Forest fan, I'm thinking, do you know what? We could get a good little points total from here, and it's a great little opportunity for them to climb the table. Let me just jump in the chat very, very, very quickly and just say hello, Aces. Big respect, mate. Thank you very much for jumping in, as always, my man. Hendo, Geezer, always a pleasure to have you here, my man. Absolutely, yeah. Liverpool without their goalkeeper too. Oh, what's that? Yeah, Allison. Yeah. We'll get into Liverpool. We're gonna go from bottom to top, but yeah, man, we're gonna get to Liverpool. Don't you worry about that. Imposter FC, mate. I'm telling you that Liverpool, they're not placed where they should be. We'll get into that, but we'll start next with 9th. And who's 9th, everyone? Guess who's fucking 9th? This time last year, they won the September Premier League trophy, this team. They had their players and their family doing laps of honour around there in that shithole at White Hart Lane because they was top at September. That just goes to show how cringe and vulgar they are. Tottenham Hotspur, you're 9th. Guess what, Ange, mate? You don't get any extra points for saying mate at the end of every fucking sentence, sadly, Ange, mate. Not quite the Scottish Premier League, is it, mate? Almost spent £500 million in your fucking 9th, mate. Mate, what's going on? I'm loving Big Ange instead. I fucking am. Stay there. It doesn't even actually matter whether it's Jose Mourinho, whether it's anyone. All top high-profile managers have gone there, and they've done absolutely fuck all. And poor Ange, mate. Yeah. Unfortunately for you, bud, you're just adding to the absolute fucking laughter that has been my entire life of watching football, watching Spurs. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, I'm loving that they haven't won a league title since 61. I'm loving that they last won the FA Cup the same year we won the league and bested them. I love the fact that the last crap trophy that they won was Juan de Ramos, I think, in 08. I think there was a manager with a Woodgate late win. They're pathetic. 3 losses and a draw in 7. One of them at home again to the mighty Arsenal, making it a hat-trick of losses. A hat-trick of losses in a row at home against the Arsenal. You shithouses. And all they've done to note, Tottenham, is beat probably the worst Manchester United team I've ever seen by a significant country mile. That's all Spurs have done. They won 3-0 there, but this this is the Manchester United team. Basically, that it was the Arsenal team that lost to Manchester United 8-2. That's how shit this Manchester United team are. That's what the levels that they are. This is no bragging rights for Spurs. You're ninth. This time last season, you were parading around with families and kids in your arms because you won the September Premier League trophies. I didn't even look at their next few fixtures because you know what? They're already fucking irrelevant to me, Tottenham, until the home tie. And then they'll be irrelevant again because they won't win fuck all and they already are out of any sniff of the Premier League title, which some Tottenham content creators will have you believe that they were in a title race every single season, smoking absolute crack over there, aren't they? So in the bin you go. That's it. Let's all fucking have a little laugh at Spurs. Ha, 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 fucking ha. You cretin of a club. But yeah, fair dues to this next club who are actually in 8th. Moving on swiftly. They're in the bin. Fulham, a.k.a. Arsenal 2.0. West Londoners, mate. They must be buzzing with their start at Craven Cottage. They must be absolutely buzzing. Some excellent signings as well this summer. Emile Smith-Rowe, obviously, being one of them. Fair dues to the boy, chipping away with a couple of goals, couple of assists. He's looking pretty pivotal in their sort of attacking play from what I've seen with him. Look, it was always a gutter as an Arsenal fan to see sort of one of your own go. We always wanted him to do well. The time was right for him to go, and I'm absolutely buzzing. I hope he does really fucking well for Fulham this year. I really do, and I think every Arsenal fan does. You know, he's one of them players. He plucked on your heartstrings. Good luck to the geezer. But for Fulham, great start. But what a shame in their last match, and that was that 3-2 loss to Man City. Fuck me, if Adama Traore could finish a wank, they would have absolutely took something off of Man City. They might have even took 3 points here, the chances that he was wasted. Let's get that right. But along with a convincing win v Newcastle and unlucky at Old Trafford I think it's the first game of the season, Fulham's got a solid start. They've got Villa at home next, Everton away, Brentford at home, Palace away, and almost sort of like Nottingham Forest. They've got a great little opportunity here in their next couple of games to actually sort of climb up the table and just keep that momentum, because let's sort of get it right. Whilst I don't expect Fulham and Nottingham Forest to be battling relegation, all these early season points now, they all make a big difference, don't they? Because if you just have a wobble, a couple of players get injured, or you're just out of form, things ain't working. The Premier League can be a nasty bastard sometimes, especially to the small clubs or the smaller clubs. You know, collecting these points now while everyone's fit, while everyone's in a bit of form, towards the end of the season, you know, they're the vital points, and absolutely fair play to them at Arsenal 2.0 Fulham. Good luck to them. And in 7th, we've got Newcastle. I'm sure superstar Mama Flossie will be probably a little bit disappointed, as I'm sure the Geordies will, especially their recent 3 fixtures. You know, I know you probably can discount the Man City game because they drew. Yeah, that's not a bad result. So we'll discredit that, but not really losing convincingly to Fulham as well, and then drawing at Everton. I mean, that's not the kind of results the Geordies want, really, is it? And that's not what they're expecting of this team. They're trying to push on and really sort of challenge and establish themselves as a top 4 team, and then obviously push on from there. And the last results probably haven't been sort of where they want, but it's been an okay sort of start. But let's also get this right about this start. It's still early days, and to be fair, they're 2 points off 4th place Chelsea, and that's a Champions League spot. So it's hardly unattainable for the Geordies, is it? You know, they're there or thereabouts. And I think when you sort of look at that, they'll probably be happy with just being in and around the conversation, and then maybe sort of having a little push, hoping Chelsea fall off, like we all do. Getting back to the laughing stock we all want them to be and love them as. But yeah, they've got a couple of good players, haven't they? Well, they've got more than a couple, but you know, some superstar players. Newcastle, some I wouldn't mind at Arsenal. Sorry, Mum, I love you to bits. You know, and they really need these players to step up now, and they really need them to step up, Newcastle, because their next 4 fixtures is their 6th v 7th v Brighton, who we'll come to next. Absolutely high flying they are, Brighton. They've also afterwards got Chelsea away. They've got Arsenal at home, and they've got Forest away. So all top half teams, Newcastle. So it will definitely be a tricky little sort of a tricky month for them. But if they negotiate out well, maybe, you know, with between 8 and 10 points, I think they'll be happy with that, Newcastle. But you know, we'll obviously, like anything, have to wait and see. But big up, Mama, my girl. Let's come to the chat while we're just sort of there. I see a few sort of comments in before we go to the next team. Arsenal wake up the next season has been leaked, 30-year anniversary. Yeah, I sort of see some of that. Was it like quite sort of dark navy sort of blue? Was it with like subtler blue zigzags on it or something like that? Reasonably smart. Just don't want it to look too much like a Chelsea kit. Big up, Vic, my man, buzzing. How are you doing, my bro? Always good to see you. Winding up the channel, yeah. I know, yeah. I can't help myself, Jez. I'll be a good boy from now on. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. I know you're only saying it because you're trying to help. I can't bloody help it. I'll do better. Godfather Jez. Oh, he's the man. I love Jez. So much respect for that man. Honestly, he's an absolute geezer. Really helped me out at the beginning of my journey. He has, Jez. He's been fantastic. Even in Hendon Aces, Jez, yeah, superstar. What a geezer. Right, let's jump back into my next teams. And where were we? We were sixth after Newcastle and sixth at Brighton. Look, another impressive start for the Seagulls, ain't it? You know, it's a bit of an indifferent sort of term from last year, you know, because we've seen them just constantly build and get better year and after year. So, I mean, you can hardly blame them for having a little sort of off year. And it wasn't as if they had a horrendous year. But it wasn't a fantastic sort of year for Brighton. But lo and behold, they're back again, sixth place in the Premier League. Again, it's only seven games in, sorry. But look, their managerial recruitment has always been spot on, and as is their player recruitment. I mean, it's just fantastic. It's a conveyor belt there. They're run so well, Brighton. Fair dues to them. But look, they're fresh off the back of a fantastic 2-0 comeback versus the Scum, and they'll be wanting to carry on their great form into their next run of fixtures because they've got some big ties in there. Again, obviously, that's going to start off with Newcastle. And they got Wolves at home where, you know, considering their next two games, they're definitely going to probably want to get 4 points out of the Newcastle and Wolves game because their games after that, Liverpool away and Manchester City at home for Brighton. So, I mean, fingers crossed they can keep up this form going into them games because taking some points off of them big hitters, my beloved Arsenal's title rivals, yeah, please keep it up. They've already taken some points off us, Brighton, through some silliness. Let's get it right. We shouldn't have drew that game, but they've been good and absolutely fair dues to them. You've got to give them credit, Brighton. You've absolutely got to give them credit. They've been in the Premier League a few years now, and they've always looked good under new managers. The football's always been good. The players have been fantastic. They sell well. They're a club I quite respect, to be fair, and I think probably the neutral respects them as well. Brighton, absolutely fair play to them. So that's sort of halfway there. I'll come to a chat and say hello after we do fifth place, and that's Aston Villa. I look 4 wins, 2 draws, and a 2-0 home loss to Arsenal. Makes up Aston Villa's start. I mean, they'll probably be disappointed with their last two. You know, a 2-2 draw at home. Away to Ipswich. They'll definitely not be happy with that. You know, if you want to solidify yourself as a top 4 team, you want to be getting maximum points against all the promoted teams. You know, that's the minimum really requirement. If you want to be up there at the top in whatever capacity, whether it be challenging for title, whether it be challenging for that top 4, you've got to be getting max points against the promoted team. So that's a big drop against Ipswich. And then obviously as well, a draw against Manchester United, who, I mean, they might as well be a promoted team that are bound for relegation again. I mean, they are absolute dog shit. I know they're not in the top 10. I just enjoy that they're not. That's why I keep adding them in because it's fucking hilarious. Sorry, Jez, that they're crap. Absolutely hilarious where Manchester United are. But yeah, Aston Villa. Look, they won't be complaining too much. Emery's got Villa properly ticking, and I'm glad they're dropping points against these teams. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad they're dropping points because they're looking a real threat. Some good European sort of nights that they've had now, that Bayern Munich. And they're properly starting to tick, aren't they, Aston Villa? And I'm sure they'll want to build on that 4th place finish. Like I said, establish themselves properly and look at their next few games. they'll probably want to try and do that against Fulham away. A tricky team. Fulham have started well. Bournemouth at home. You've got to be looking, if you're going to be finishing them fours, you've got to be looking at 6 points there. And then Spurs away. Look, they're probably, well, I know they're ninth Spurs, but they'll probably want to consider themselves as maybe rivals-ish. Maybe you'd expect Spurs to pick up a bit more points. That's going to be a big sort of game for them. Just put them out. Hopefully Villa do them. I can't stand Spurs. I don't want to see them win a football match. And then they've got Liverpool at home. I mean, it's sort of a tricky sort of towards the end of that for Aston Villa. But I don't think they'd be too disappointed maybe if they got 9 points there, Aston Villa. If they was to manage to beat Fulham, beat Bournemouth, and maybe beat one of Spurs or Liverpool, I think they'd probably be quite happy with that, if I'm being honest. Nick a point at Anfield. I'll be a buzzing man, please. I'll be double happy. Nick points anywhere against my title rivals, please. We got Alf. Hello, mate. Big up, geezer. How are you? Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Yeah, still a little tired. I'm not gonna lie, from my holiday. Like, I've just not really recovered. I've been back to work today, so obviously that ain't helped. And I'm not gonna lie, they've stressed me right out. They really stressed me right out. They've drove me to get a couple of cans of Stella. They have. Not that I need much persuasion, if I'm being honest. Jason, hello, geezer. How you doing, my man? Big up Aaron in chat. I'm tuning in the car on Bluetooth, currently driving. Boom. Absolute pleasure to have you in here, my man. Hope you are absolutely well. Good to see you, man. So yeah, let's go to fourth. Chelsea, are they in a title race? After spending significantly north of 1 billion, shouldn't be a surprise. Chelsea are fourth, but it is a surprise. It's a surprise because they've been horrendous. A 12th place finish, a 6th place finish in recent seasons, and now they sit fourth. Look, I suppose technically it's progress. Only one way up from rock bottom, I guess, for Chelsea, wouldn't there? And they're sitting pretty-ish at fourth, I guess. Let's face it, though, as an Arsenal fan, we finished 8th in a row, and on average, 12th and 6th. It's exactly the same. So I know how it feels. It's bloody painful being where they are, but it's also excellent watching where they are. Look, they're having an all right start to the season. Picked up a good bit of form. If you believe some Chelsea content creators, they'll have you think that they're possibly in with a title chance. Sorry, I'm not going to subscribe to that notion. I think it's bollocks. It's so funny, ain't it, that you win a couple of games, or you slightly improve, or not dramatically or drastically improve from last season, but they were so shit last season. They've won a few games against some scrubs, and all of a sudden now they're absolutely mustard. Oh, let's talk it. They're dangerous. They're this. They're that. Come on, man. They're a Cole Palmer injury away from being 12th again. They are a Cole Palmer injury away from best off back in that little conference league or whatever it is. Like, let's get it right. Like, they are not going to be title challengers, sorry. They're not going to be up there. I think they'll fade off. They're having a nice little run now. Fair dues to them. Look, let's put this into perspective and end the conversation of Chelsea being title challengers, yeah? They're 4 points off the top at the minute, and they're 3 points behind Manchester City after 7 games. That's the real kicker for me. In the next 31 games, are you telling me, anyone in this chat, anyone that watches this, anyone I talk to, does anyone actually believe that in the next 31 games, Chelsea are going to amass 4 more points than Manchester City? I mean, come on. That's all I've got to say. Yeah, they're having a decent little run. Fair dues to them. But yeah, we change the narrative from Chelsea, from title challengers to top 4 challengers. That's a boat I can board. I can understand that. But of course, pending Cole Palmer's fitness, if he gets injured, it's Conference League again. Maximum. That's maximum for them. And look, it's an absolute belter of a next 4 games for them as well, because we're actually going to see what they're made of. Liverpool away. That's a big game this weekend. We're going to see how they can go against the big boys, because they played Manchester City. And all right, it was the start of the season, but Man City didn't even get out of first gear and took the piss out of them. Then they've got Newcastle at home. Always tricky. They've got Manchester United away. I mean, Manchester United, the name's there, isn't it? But, yeah, that might as well be Macclesfield. They're absolutely horrendous. And then they've obviously got Arsenal at home to have their 4. So, look, we'll find out a lot more about Chelsea, but title credentials, we won't find out more about that. There's no title credentials there. They are not going to win it. It's as simple as that. Come on, people. I get that feeling. Having to wake up early makes it 10 times worse, mate. Like, I've been waking up, like, I know it sounds silly at like 8:30 or something, but that is such a lay-in for me, and I've been doing that for about 10 days. So to have to get up the time I did today, honestly, man, it was just like, oh, it's just painful. I barely had any sort of like sleep or any good sleep, you know. That's probably why I look so baggy. I don't know why I look purple either. For some reason, it's just the lighting in here. But there you go. Just you haven't got to put up with my purple face for much longer, mate. Don't worry about it. SG, good to see you in here. Hello, Aaron. I've got to say, you have two beautiful shirts hanging up on the door. Absolute beauty to look at, man. Yeah, they are. There's some fantastic memories for all Arsenal fans in them shirts in there. Let's get it right. Especially, I love the 98 one. I do like that one, that Overmars goal, because I was born in 89, so obviously the Bruce Banana, you know, I didn't really know so much about football for that shirt when it came out a couple of years later. But the 98 one, it was my first or second real sort of seasons watching Arsenal, so I always remember the Mark Overmars, you know, that 1-0 at Old Trafford, and he's doing his little celebration like there. Oh, belter of a shirt, absolute belter of a shirt, mate. And he says, Chelsea on in the top 4 race. Yeah, man. That's exactly right. I don't know why they don't just say that. Just say that, oh, you know, they're looking good for top 4. And every other club will probably go, do you know what? You've actually got a really good shout for top 4. But everyone's just like, oh, you know, they've had fun. They're in a title race. Could they be the underdogs for it? No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't. Come on. Let's all put our fucking sensible hats on. Yeah, they're not. Endo says, yeah. Hello to Jezza and Vic. Arsenal are a sack away in injury from just being also ran. Do you know what? Yeah, to be fair, he's been racking it up for us, Saka. So, you know, I sort of somewhat agree. It'd be interesting to see if he's injured. I don't think he's injured. I don't think he should be starting against Bournemouth. Pardon me. If he's even 70-80% fit, and I said this on Jez's show last night with Kenny, and if you haven't already, which I know most, if not all of you already have, follow Jez at Arsenal History and More. I was on his show last night, and we was basically sort of saying about Arsenal not really having to need Bukayo Saka for these sort of games. You know, if I know you've got to respect every sort of team in the Premier League, they're all hard games, but let's sort of get it right. If you're not going to be able to rest your best players or 1 or 2 players against a Bournemouth, then when are you going to be able to rest them? You know. But yeah, I totally see your point, mate. SG, yeah, saying good evening to the boys. Vic, what we saying, brother? I want 3 points against the Cherries and a clean sheet. But 3 points is a must. Listen, yeah, I'll get sort of I'll talk a little bit more into that when I get there in a sec. But yeah, you are absolutely right. I'll take this and then I'll jump into the next team, which is obviously going to be Arsenal. The conclusion we can draw from this is that your sleep deprivation has turned you into a Trossard. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind his wages or his football ability. Yeah, I'm just unfortunately a snidey little purple version at the minute, mate. I don't know. I've tried messing with them lights, God knows how many times, but I mean, we're still here, still being purple, just like sort of like a deformed Smurf that didn't really come out right, unfortunately. But yeah, let's get into the third place team then, and we all know who's the third place team. It's my beloved Arsenal, our beloved Arsenal. And I honestly believe we should be first. We should be. And if it wasn't for 2 moments of absolute madness, one from Declan Rice and one from Baggy I Me Trossard, we probably got a perfect start. Them 2 little moments, and they're the moments that I don't see Man City make too often, and especially repeating such quick sort of space. You know, it's really disappointing, that is. But we should be top. I wouldn't say necessarily it's because we've been the best team. I don't know, maybe I'm arguing with myself here, but we probably should be top. We should have beaten Brighton, and we probably should have beaten Manchester City. But them 2 moments has cost us. But look, if you'd have told me at the start of the season, and this has to sort of be said as well, if you'd have told me at the start of the season that we'd have played City, Spurs, Villa away and got 7 points, and only to lose in the last sort of minute, that being to Manchester City after playing the way we did on that day, I'd be quite a happy man, to be fair. Do you know what? I'd have took that. I'd have thought, do you know what? Yeah, the two excellent little away wins against Villa and Spurs, and a draw against Man City. I'm thinking, yeah, go and beat them. Go and beat them at home. You know, I'd have took it. So we're doing all right so far. Look, the team so far we've played. Look, we've amassed one more point than we did against the teams last season. Obviously, we played the relegated teams last season, obviously, and in the league this year, and we got maximum points, and we've started that against Leicester and Southampton as well. So we've actually amassed one more point, but the problem is the season before that we was missing by 5 points. Last season we was missing by 2 points. It's still sort of not enough. Now it's technically an improvement, but it needs to be more. And the football's hardly been blockbuster either. And it's collecting points so far. But the problem is, I think with us, is what we might sort of come to see is it going to be sustainable sort of playing this way? And I know, you know, maybe this Odegaard injury is causing sort of some of this. We're playing a different sort of way, but I don't know how sustainable it is. You know, I really hoped that the Leicester and the Southampton game were going to be sort of like a catalyst, you know, like it was after that Dubai sort of trip last year, where we had the West Ham, we had the Sheffield Uniteds, and we absolutely put them to the sword, scored 6 past both. I thought that this would have been the same sort of thing. I thought, yeah, we got 2 promoted teams at home here. You know, I know we put 4 past Leicester, but we made that massively difficult, didn't we? Let's get it right and come 1-0 down to Southampton. All right, we come back 1-3-1, fair dues. But you know, I think we really massively missed a trick there and just going and blowing these teams away, because that's what Manchester City title teams were doing. That's what the team like Liverpool were doing. You know, they weren't making these games tricky for themselves. All right, they probably had some tricky moments in the seasons that they won it, but you know, we've got to be doing better. And I thought they were fantastic opportunities. But look, you know, we all play each other over the 38 games, and we're only 7 games in. We've had the harder fixtures technically, I think, over our title rivals, and yeah, I think it's an okay start to the season. I really do, and it's a shame we're actually not top of the league at the minute, and yeah, our next 4 fixtures, and this is massive, absolutely massive month of football coming up for Arsenal, and I cannot stress enough how important the first game is to get a victory. And as we've said, it's away at Bournemouth. Now, considering the next 3 games that we've got, you've got to be winning these, because, you know, I'd accept sort of a slip up somewhere. You know, it's a tricky run of fixtures, but you can't be slipping up on the first hurdle in this. You've got to be getting 3 points away at Bournemouth, because then our next game on my birthday is Liverpool at home. Now, to be fair, we've actually beaten them twice in a row. At the Emirates, maybe if you discount obviously the FA Cup, of course, in the league, which is what we're talking about. I actually sort of fancy us against Liverpool, to be fair. And then we've got Newcastle away, which I don't as much fancy us, you know. And these are the games. It's so cliche, but these are the games where you really need to sort of be going to. And however you do it, you know, we went there last year and got that dodgy whatever the goal, and we lost 1-0. We need that to be roles reversed. I don't care how we do it. If the ball goes out and we win 1-0, that's what gets you over the line. And they're the interesting games I want to see. That's the most interesting game in our fixture list, I think, in the next 4 games, is the Newcastle one. Can we go there? And they always raise their game and play well against us. Can we go there and stifle them? Stop the atmosphere. Don't let the game consume you. They're going to play dirty, but we've also got a physical side to ourselves. We should be going there and trying to get something. It's definitely not going to be easy at Newcastle, but that's the most interesting game. And then, of course, we've got Chelsea away, which we actually in the last few years haven't got a bad result over the last few years against them. So, look, it's a very, very, very intriguing sort of next run on the fixtures for us. I think we're going to see what we're made of over the next few ones. And if you think that's going to get us to 11 games, we'll have played virtually all of the tricky teams away from home. And if we can come out of that, you know, there or thereabouts, I mean, top, obviously, we'd love to come out that top. But if we're still knocking on the door, you know, no more than 2 points behind whoever's on top, I think that I think that'll be okay, you know, acceptable. So yeah, 3 away games, 1 at home, massive game at Liverpool on my birthday. I'll be getting some boxes, some socks, a link set, and 3 points. Please, that's all I want on the Sunday. Yeah, and I just thought I'd add as well after that Chelsea game, look at the next fixtures just in the league that we've got, and I think this is a great opportunity for us. We've then got after the Chelsea game, and our first game back after the next international, Nottingham Forest at home, West Ham away, Manchester United at home, Fulham away, Everton at home, Palace away, Ipswich at home, Brentford away, Brighton away, and then Spurs at home. You know, there's some games there where you think we should be sort of winning them. The run looks worse when you put all the Champions League fixtures into it. But when you actually isolate the Premier League games on their own, I'm looking at them sort of fixtures and I'm thinking we should be taking quite high points out of that. And I expect us to take quite high points out of them. So it'd be interesting. But yeah, let's come to the chat because we're going to do second and first next. We obviously all know who they are. Give me 2 seconds. For some reason, I'm struggling with the old computer. Oh, yeah, remember when Tottenham was in a title race? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. They had a little parade and a little walk around their little stadium with all their family and all of that in September. It's absolutely embarrassing. Like Peace Cup winners, look pathetic, absolute pathetic club. Vic, what we're saying? Chelsea seem to leak goals, so I expect Paul to beat them, but it will definitely be a test for Liverpool. And also, they play away to Red Bull before we play them, so hopefully that works in our favour. I don't actually know who we've got. I can't remember the fixture list with the Champions League's fixtures in sort of with there. I don't know how ours sort of looks, but look, I'll take any advantage. I want us to win anything. We should be beating them anyway, but look, I'll take these advantages. You know, these disadvantages and advantages, you know, they'll come back and forth at all sort of seasons, at any stage of the season, you know. I'm all for it. If it gives us a slight advantage, Vic, mate, all well and good. Smurfs and Trossard are both Belgian. Yeah, close enough. Yeah, and I'm drinking Belgian Stella. I mean, come on. Like, here we go. I mean, it's a match made in heaven, isn't it? The Belgian Smurf. I'm a bit concerned of the mid-table or relegation clubs because the lads seem to be complacent against them. Meanwhile, when we face a top opposition, we're able to concentrate the 90 minutes. Yeah, man, look, and listen, this just isn't this season as well, is it, bud? You look at the last 2 seasons. We didn't lose the league against the big teams. We actually had a fantastic record. I think a superior record against the big teams. We lost them the season before against Brighton and Southampton. And then the last season, the Aston Villa losing twice, home and away. The Fulham, the loss and the draw. The West Ham draw at home. That's where we're losing these games. So I totally understand you. And especially at home, you know, we just don't look as good or as solid, I'd say, at home. If you give us almost like a big team, maybe not, you know, the Manchester Cities and the Liverpools, but anyone else outside of that, I'd almost rather us play away because we just look so much more efficient. I don't feel like we're going to concede. Whereas at home, I always feel like we're going to concede an attack, you know, for the so-called best defense, and I think it is a fantastic defense. But you know, they are prone to some stupidness, aren't they? Craig, big up, brother. With us being without Odegaard, getting some of the results we have shows how much our squad has improved. Well, look, I think, yeah, the team, yeah, absolutely has improved, mate, 100%. But I don't know whether I'm just a play on words here, but like the squad, I don't believe has improved because we've let so many players go and we didn't bring enough sort of in, mate. But you know, I sort of see maybe the narrative that you're sort of saying. You know, the squad's there a year older. You've got maybe what's his name, Ethan Waneri coming through. And yeah, you know, we've been getting excellent results without Odegaard, but the way we've been playing without him, is it sustainable? You know, because it's sort of been a lot more defensive. You know, dark arts. Everyone seems to fucking love that word at the minute, didn't they? A bit dark arts. I don't know, mate. But yeah, one thing is we've been picking up good results, and I'm buzzing with it. You know, we'll all be happy. You know, I'll be pegged along with some of the other Arsenal YouTubers I'm on with as probably negative people. As we just want to see our team win. I don't care how Arsenal get there. If Arsenal win the Premier League, I don't care how they play. You'd love for them to play good football, of course you would. But essentially, we all want the same thing. Just some of our standards are a little bit different, isn't it? But cheers, Craig, mate. Always good to see you in the chat, brother. SG Vic says, you're right, bro. We need to treat those mid-table teams as if we were the same as City and Paul. Respect them, but at the same time be ruthless and punish them. We're due to punish a team by a few goals, and absolutely right. We've missed. That's what I was saying about them Southampton and the Leicester games, man. We've missed a little trick there. I really do, bud. Just take these next two, and then I'll crack on with the last two. Dad, what you saying, mate? Trust you to do a top 10 when my Hammers are not in it. Well, it's not my fault that West Ham are absolute dog shit this season, is it, Papa? Spanking the Yids, which I hope you do. I absolutely hope you do. But, I mean, you're on the table of Manchester United, aren't you, mate? You know, absolute wank you lot have been this season, unfortunately, Dad. But love you as always, my man. Vic, yeah, we don't have a striker to kill the opposition, man. Well, you know, it's almost like you need a striker to win the Premier League, like Haaland. Haaland's done for City the last 2 years. Madness, isn't it? And I don't think Arteta signed a proper striker yet. That's for another show, but madness that he ain't done that. But right, let's get into Manchester City at second. Started off the season, I think, in second gear, really, making lighter teams. But since that Arsenal game, something hasn't quite been right. And obviously, you're going to draw from the Rodri injury, you know? And it's a big loss for them. You know, all right, technically, they actually didn't start with him this season. You know, he was being rested after the Spain games. And then, you know, I think they was just giving him some more resting time. But and they were picking up points very easily. But since that Arsenal game, they've just not looked quite right. Now they've still picked up some points, but there's that draw against Newcastle. There's also that Fulham game which they won, okay, but they looked anything but convincing. And if you're a City fan, I think now you just maybe need to stay in distance. I know it's mad to sort of say that, but if they're gonna play like this without Rodri, and in the end they'll get found out. They won't keep winning these games. They will eventually sort of start slipping off. With the De Bruyne's out and whatnot, you can't keep relying just solely on Haaland. Well, I mean, technically you can, I suppose, but you get sort of the point that I'm trying to make. They've not been the same, and of course, like you sort of sit there and you look at City and think they've done it all year round. But could this be a sort of a start of a little mini decline in the start of the season? This is where Arsenal and Liverpool need to start hurting them. If they're going to sort of slowly sort of let this game sink, because they haven't been right since that Arsenal game. Let's get it right. They have not been the same. This is where we need to hope that they start dropping some points. And more to the point, if you're an Arsenal fan, we need to just make sure we do our job, because I'm convinced Man City are going to drop some points. I genuinely believe that. I think they're on that way, and they're still fantastic. And I still actually think they're going to win the league this year, if I'm being totally honest. But they're definitely on the decline. But you look at their next four fixtures. Wolves away. It's actually, you know, they've smashed them in some seasons. They actually did lose at home and away. I think they've lost at home and away in the last 3 or 4 sort of seasons of them. Not in the same season, but that can sort of prove a tricky sort of fixture for them. But you'd probably say they'll win. Southampton at home, win. Bournemouth away, win. Brighton away. You know, Brighton have done good. It'd be fantastic if they could nick a little point off of them. But, you know, this is what City have earned over the last few years. Even without these players, without the Rodris, you sort of think, well, City will get 12 out of 12 there, wouldn't you? And that's because they deserve it. They've earned that over the years of being so good. We think, yeah, they'll probably get it. I hope they don't, obviously, but the next 4 fixtures for them are pretty favourable. It feels like they haven't really played. I know they've played Arsenal and they've played Chelsea. It seems like they haven't really played anyone yet. You know, like a Liverpool as well, and you know, some horrible teams. But yeah, let's get to first. False position FC. I don't care, right? And I've not really ever liked Liverpool, if I'm being totally honest with you. But I don't care. I don't buy this Liverpool team after 7 games. I just do not buy it. Like, and I'll tell you why. They've literally played no one. No one. They've played one team, right? One team in the top half of the table. Nottingham Forest in 10th place at home, and they fucking lost it 1-0. They played no one. Now everyone's going mad about Liverpool. Oh yeah, this could be their season. Slot ball. Of course, it's going to be slot ball if you played 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. I mean, come on. Like, come on. We've not seen what this Liverpool team are made of. Jesus Christ, almost threw the fucking fixture list out for them, didn't he? I mean, it could not have been an easier hand-picked start to the season for Liverpool. I mean, he's absolutely had it off, any Arnie Slot. When he took that job, he must have thought, I hope I don't get Man City in the first game. I hope I don't get Arsenal at the Emirates, and horrible games away at Newcastle. He's got promoted teams and crap teams. They've just played no one. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I don't buy Liverpool. And I won't buy them until probably at least until Christmas, because they need to show me that they are capable of beating a decent team, and they haven't yet. Slot ball has showed me that they can somewhat bully relegation teams. Well done. That don't win you Premier League titles. That just makes you look fancy after 7 games when you've played no one. I think they're going to get found out at some stage. Now, look, they played Chelsea, who are high flying. I sort of do expect them to win, but it could be tricky. I'm really intrigued about that game, that Chelsea game, to just see if Chelsea turn up, but just sort of to see where our Liverpool sort of negotiate that, because they're in good form, Chelsea. They're confident. They'll probably want to have a go at Liverpool, and I'm absolutely interested to see how Liverpool will deal with hopefully a Chelsea team that want to go there and sort of try and stifle them. Have a real sort of go at them. I'm sorry, yeah. 9 of their next 12 sorry, 9 of their next 12 games, which means that they're going to be playing the top half, their next 12 games. I've absolutely butchered that. 9 of their next 12 games brings every team halfway up at the current league positioning, mate. They are going to be playing in the next half lane all the good teams. This is where we're going to find them out after 19 games. Let me judge them after 19 games, when I can finally start talking English, by the way, people, because that was an absolute fucking shit show. I want to see what they're like once they've played everyone, because they played no one halfway through. It's annoying. Their next run of fixtures, this will tell you about Liverpool, right? Chelsea at home, Arsenal away. Now, them 2 games, and especially the Arsenal away, this is why I'm confident about them. Everyone's swanning in going, oh, Liverpool, this could be their year. How funny would it be if Arsenal won it? If Arsenal didn't win it, Liverpool just sort of came in after 2 years. Mate, they've lost to us twice in the last 2 years, and they're probably going to lose again, because I'm sorry, you don't puff your chest out because you've beaten Nottingham Forest, lost to Nottingham Forest away, and that's the only top half team you played. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. Like, and you could probably see I dislike Liverpool in the way I'm talking about them. And they just piss me off as a team. They've played no one, and yeah, they're first at the minute. But do you know what they are? They're last season's Tottenham. I'm just surprised they're not having little players walking around Anfield with their wives and that, because they've won the fucking October Premier League title. I'm sorry, I'm not going to subscribe to that. It's madness, absolute madness. They're not for me, man. Absolutely not for me, Liverpool. And I'm intrigued to see if anyone in the chat agrees with me. You can't give it to Barry McGuigan if you've played no one. You've played no one, Liverpool. Calm yourselves down. Facts, bro, yeah. We need 2 quality strikers. If we've 2 good strikers, I don't think we have replaced Aubrey and Laka, and we let Eddie go. I mean, yeah, we're massively short, sorry, aren't we? Absolutely massively short. I don't know what Arteta's deal is. I don't know why he's so petrified in signing a striker, or at least a good one anyway. Because we all know that Jesus ain't a bloody striker. It took him 4 years at Manchester City and 2 years at Arsenal to finally figure it out. Absolute bonkers, isn't it? SG in 83, baby. And I remember when we used to have 4 strikers. Yeah, we had some good strikers, mate, over the year. You mostly played 4-4-2, didn't you? So you'd obviously have your backups. Sadly, those days are gone well and truly, mate. And if it's up to me, I'll play 4-4-2, 2 strikers. But Mikel will never do that. Yeah, and I don't think football will ever really sort of allow that, mostly, especially in the Premier League, the way teams are setting out now. But I mean, you'd sort of take that, Vic, to like 2002. You know, where you had Bergkamp Henry and you had Canu and Wiltor. I mean, that is not bad at all, was it? You know, and now we've got Jesus and Havertz. One's a right winger that ain't even a good right winger, and the other one's I don't even know. Germany think he's a fucking left back. I don't know. He's not been too bad, Havertz, so I shouldn't really get too much on his shoulder. But I mean, come on, he's not the striker that's going to win the Premier League, is he? We all know that. But we can't buy a striker for 100 million because Arsenal are poor. Yeah, I know. What a narrative. Hold on a minute. Isn't Arsenal tickets the most expensive in Europe? This PR have successfully brainwashed our fan base that are penniless. Listen, yeah, to add on to that, on the profit and sustainability books, our season in Europe and no Europe have come off. Our 2 seasons in the Champions League have come on. So the books are extremely healthy. Even though we've given players extra wages, we've also reduced the wage bill still. We've had a new deal with Adidas. We've had a new deal with Fly Emirates. We've sold the training to that Sober Realty. We've got, you know, what's it, the badge that Visit Rwanda on there. You know, we're making more money now than we ever have. And we're finishing higher up in the league, more revenue. You know, we are finishing, we've got more money than we've ever had. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. This narrative about Arsenal not spending money is bollocks. There's something beyond it. I don't know what it is. Maybe the Cronkies don't trust Arteta spunking any more money, like or Edu, whoever it is. You know, the pair of clowns can't sign a striker between them. And it's so clear. That's the frustrating thing. It's so clear to see what we need. There's a bloody striker, and there's one called Victor Gyökeres with a release clause. Come on, man. Jesus, Vic Lafayette. Yeah, I could imagine it. It was a different standard back then, but unfortunately, I'm born in '97, so I was 7 the last time Arsenal won the league. Wow, man. Yeah, I think I was 15. The last time they won it, then 15, 16, something like that. Madness, isn't it? Geezer, give a subscribe to Guna Matata as well while you're there, man. Big up, fella. Cheers for jumping in. Alf, what we're saying, Arsenal need a striker, in my opinion. Absolutely, bro. What Arsenal need is rotation. The players are exhausted by the final stretch. Yeah, they are, mate. Especially Saka. They absolutely just, I mean, they run him into the ground, didn't they? Especially Arteta, and then they'll take him off. He's been a little bit better this season, actually, with it, Mikel Arteta, but I mean, not that much better. Man City players are fresh. Look at Foden, for an example. They still ain't played him player of the season last year, and they're just like, yeah, we will. Whenever we want you, we'll have you. That's what they can do. That's the luxury they've got. Yeah, that's the difference. Yes, I totally agree with you there, my man. 100%. Vic, I really want to know where all the money is going. Yeah, I'm with you, man. We all know we have money, but something don't add up. Plus, if he wanted to, Kroenke could actually put some of his own money into us, but he don't. He's too interested in his American franchise. He's not even interested in Arsenal whatsoever. He's give us Arsenal Football Club to Josh Kroenke as a little backhanded Christmas present that no one wanted. You know, we don't care about Stan. Josh seems to appear because he comes out and does these little press conferences where he says cute little things like "Be prepared to be excited." All right, yeah. 2 years later, I mean, all right, we're better than we was 2 years ago, but I mean, I'm still not excited, mate. Manchester City were there for the absolute taking, weren't they? People, they were there for the taking in terms of the transfer window. You know, I know they signed all right. They got Savinho, they got Gundogan, who hadn't really sort of lived up to as he was getting older, obviously. But they were there. They were really there. That was a statement of intent that we missed. And when it gets to that sort of pivotal moment where you sit there and you think, do you know what? If Arsenal sign a striker or really go big this window, we could really, really go at this league and be confident of winning it. But we got Sterling instead. I mean, come on. We want an 80, 90, 100 million pound striker, and we've got Raheem Sterling, a finished Raheem Sterling. I mean, that says everything, doesn't it? Don't need to say any more on it. It's madness. Hopefully good times and trophies are coming up soon. Some of us older gooners have been lucky to see us win stuff, but 20 years since the last league. I want us to see us win the Premier League again, man. I mean, I'm there. We all are. We of course we all do. We desperately want us to see us Arsenal winning the league. Do you know what I mean? It's what we pay the money for, Vic. Do you know what I mean? And in any capacity, it's why you spend time, whether you just watch the games on the telly or whatever, you're still taking time, precious time out of your lives to follow Arsenal, to pay in whatever capacity. Do you know what I mean? And I think after that sort of amount of times, we bloody deserve it, mate. We absolutely deserve something. I heard Southern Gooners stream that Cronkies are not interested in sustaining success. Yeah, I think I've seen the same sort of stream, mate. Yeah, I think they just put money in, win something, and then that's that. Once they've won something, ta-la, no more. And that's what we want sustained success. You know, we don't just want to win the Premier League this year and then it's like, oh, well, that was great, wasn't it? Or let's just wait another 21 years. We absolutely don't want that. Aaron, it's messed up, bro. Football is about goals, and I don't understand why more teams don't want to play two strikers. Jose and Conte mess things up with their one striker crap, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially I think was it Mourinho when he come in and all that. Yeah, I mean they really sort of shook things up. But one of them things, didn't it? That's the sort of thing, you know. And like I want us to see us, you know, mullering teams and butchering teams and playing excellent football. But at the end of the day, I think if you told me that Arsenal were going to win the league playing 38 boring games, I'd still take it. You know, we want to see us winning the league. We deserve it. Hope so, bro. 27 years old, a grown-ass man. People won't realise that time will go fast. Oh, listen, it does go so fast, man. I'm going a little bit grey and I'm purple now. I mean, we're aging, bro. That's just inevitable, man. Yeah, that's true, bro. An article where Cronk said he didn't ask to win titles. Oh, yeah, I'll remember that. That's absolutely bonkers, isn't it? It's madness. Wenger, it's a trophy, top four. I mean, what narratives are they trying to peddle and just expect that Arsenal fans like us are thick enough to believe it? But the problem is there's so many Arsenal fans that are thick, isn't there, mate? Like, absolute thick. Sadly, I don't have faith in Mikel to bring us a Premier League. But if he proves me wrong, then great. If no trophies this season, then I hope he gets sacked personally. Listen, it's something that I've said a couple of times now. No silver, no job. That's that. You know, you've had your time now. I don't care. And, you know, you'll get people that will sort of go, oh, but it's context. I understand the context thing to a certain degree. But if we don't win anything this year, it's been 5.5 years. And then it's just like, come on now. All you've done in the last, if you don't win anything this year, all you've done is win nothing for 3 years, bottle title races 3 times, win no trophies, and bottle a top 4 race as well. All you've done is show me that you can't be successful. It cannot stay, but he will. We all know he will, because there's too many people in this fan base that giving Arteta a good old go over because he's so good looking. He's the best Spanish geezer looking geezer we know, and they're all having a right old go on it, isn't they? It's madness. Until that stops, we probably won't ever sort of get to that next stage because the fans aren't demanding enough. There's nowhere near enough fans like us that actually sort of want to push a narrative where, like, no, come on, we want success and we want it now. But there's too many people that will just go, oh, but you know, we've come second twice in a row. Oh, ain't that giddy? I can care less about second. I couldn't care less. 1998 to 2002, Arsenal. I'll remember that. 99, 2000 and 2001, I could not give a shit about. Couldn't give a shit about. We didn't win anything in them years. Who remembers here? We talk about 98, we talk about 2002, and obviously 2004, won an FA Cup in 2003. Who gives an absolute toss about 99, 2000 and 2001? Let's be real with it. Who cares about it? You know why we don't care? We didn't win anything. And it's exactly the same here. Look, we're not winning anything. In 10 years' time, if we don't win anything now this season, we're going to look back and we're going to go, oh yeah, remember when we was sort of ish, maybe good, maybe then in them years. We're not going to really remember it at all, are we? It's just going to float into 31 years without a title. Now is the time to do it. And if Arteta doesn't do it this season, get out. No silver, no job. Go away. Get someone new. I don't care if you're just giving him a 3-year deal. Rip it up, give him his money and fuck him off out the door. Simple as that. But they won't do it. We know it. What ironic that Peter Aylward sold his shares to Stan Kroenke to run the club as British. Yeah, I mean, I don't really sort of... You'll probably get the likes of a superstar Jez that will know a bit more in depth of things sort of like that. But I don't think it was as simple as sort of that. I think there was something else involved in it, but I don't really know too much. If I'm being honest, I can't totally sort of have an opinion too much on that in depth. I wanted Usmanov, yeah. Well, I think we all sort of did because we wanted that influx and change, didn't we? But yeah, we did dodge a bullet, man. I mean, what sort of happened? He didn't really do well with Everton, did he? Let's get that right. If Mikel has any respect for us as a club, then he should walk at the end of the season if we win Jack. Absolutely. No other man has been given as many years as he has in recent, especially without the success. Especially without the success. It's absolutely massive. And that's why I would get so, and I keep always panning back to it. The transfer window was so frustrating because it's this season. It was a Peter Cech transfer window, wasn't it? You know, where you sit there and you think, well, sign a couple of players here, and you know you could actually do some damage here. We've got a good team in that year, and we signed Peter Cech. Just Peter Cech, and just let it pass us by. Someone else won it. Someone else had the glory while we were sat there found wanting again, looking at other people in a different colour shirt with their pits up in the air. It needs to be us soon, doesn't it, boys? And if it's not going to be us this year, sorry, new regime, get them out. Edu, piss off. I'll tell you, out you go. New regime, get someone else in, get a winner. You know, I'll tell you what, Real Madrid don't seem too happy with Don Carlo. I'll tell you what, I'll have him in a heartbeat. If that sort of does happen and he does leave Real Madrid and Arteta doesn't win anything for us, I mean, come on, we probably have been about 6 years late in that. Why did we let him go to Everton? Why did we let Don Carlo go to Everton, man? It's madness. Again, the owner's not being ruthless enough to do what needs to be done to get success or even any type of success at this football club. Needed Bracewell Smith, yeah. Henry Prittmore and Tottenham and Man United, yeah. Aaron, have you been lucky enough to meet any ex-players over the years? But do you know what? I've met Dennis Bergkamp, but it was at his statue unveiling. And a few of us sort of waited a little bit after and had a little chat with him. I think that was statue unveiling. I think it might have been against Sunderland, I think, in an FA Cup game. But yeah, we sort of waited around. I think I was I don't know if Craig's still in the chat. I think he was with me at the time. I'm sure that was a card. But if you're still in the chat, Craig, help me out. I'm sure it was Sunderland, wasn't it, mate? But yeah, I think Nigel Winterburn, Ray Parler. There's a couple that no current sort of players, or even maybe any in the last sort of 10 years. They've all sort of been older ones. I've met Merson, I think, a couple of times at one of the sort of like signing sort of things that he'd sort of done. He'd done like a little show with Ray Parler and Perry Groves. That's what it was. So yeah, a couple of them. What about yourself, Vic? If you're still sort of there in the chat, let us know. I am going to wrap things up in a second. But yeah, I'm quite intrigued. What about you, my man? What about anyone else in the chat? If people are still here, anyone else met anyone? I'm gonna have a little sip of my Stella, and then I'm gonna say goodbye to you, gentlemen. Listen, absolutely, thank you very much for watching. There's names in the chat that are here sort of all the time, and I absolutely love you all for it, man. I appreciate it as always. That's why I do it. I just want to talk about Arsenal to people that I like. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about for me, and I appreciate people for coming here and watching my purple face. I've got a couple of bits coming up. So we've obviously got Bournemouth. Not that I've mentioned it once in the chat. We've got Bournemouth, haven't we? On Saturday away. I'm going to be doing a review at 9 o'clock with the Godfather, Mr. Jez Collins. So yeah, head over there for that. And I've had a little chat with Super Kenny Ken, or Sir Ken as he's now labelled. He's coming on the show in sort of some capacity. Maybe next week or so, you know, I'll sort of have a chat and figure something out with him. But yeah, I want to do a couple more streams, not just sort of reaction sort of videos. I want to do a couple more like these, you know, just sort of my own little bit of content, and it'd be fantastic to have you all there. But yeah, boys and girls, if there are any, like, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. I'll tell you what, I'll take this SG before I shoot. Me and my friend called Gigs. Yeah, I don't blame you. See you next Tuesday in the summer 2013 friendly match in Stockholm when he was taking a corner. Yeah, do you know what? anyone who bangs his brother's missus, I mean, is a bit of a see you next Tuesday, isn't it? I mean, that's naughty, man. I mean, come on, like that's savage, man. That's just absolutely brutal. And I thought when I done my outro, I'd give you a bit of time to have a little type up. Yeah, I met David Seaman. We came to Aylesbury to do a meet and greet. Buzzing, mate. I love David Seaman. What a geezer. His laugh as well is infectious, and it's brilliant. Wenger outside Highbury, nice. At the Emirates, I met Keown, Stagner, Gallas, Adams, Dixon, and a few others. Also did a stadium tour with Perry. Yeah, he's pardon me, he's all right. Perry Groves. Yeah, he's a funny little geezer. He is. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's wicked. And listen, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wrap out of it. Everyone have a great evening. Thank you again very much for coming. Like, sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Love as always, everyone. Buzzing. And I'll try and end the stream eventually.